hasn't slept since 1 o'clock this morning, and he's beating you guys.
Shush. Gotta make sure that all the parts are even here.
I don't know if I was necessarily the fastest. It seems like we kind of all finished at the same time, but I do know one thing for sure. Mine looks a lot better than everybody else's.
Oh, it's got to snap in right
Don't
there.
forget that custom aspect.
Adding a customization, simple.
I'm not the quickest at snap together cars. Is it right up my alley? No.
Done!
Oh.
Done!
I was
done before.
Done.
My pencil's down.
You put it number 1 on the top?
It's number 1.
I've totally lost track of what we're even doing here.
So I think that I had the fastest time, if I'm not mistaken. And this has super stripes like a Mustang. Back up, don't speak.
How am I going to judge these things? There's so much to them. Do we need to worry about the time? Do we need to worry about how unique it is? Okay. What about his?
Oh, top one!
Oh, your parts fell off.
Looks like everybody finished it all together about the same time. They all look cool. It's hard to pick somebody. I think everybody's a winner.
Here's the thing. We missed you being here this week because you were in New York. I actually have something special for you back at the trailer. A little something as a gift.
It's awesome.
Wow,
I can't
I
wait.
got a really cool gift.
That's
Yep.
nice.
They have a swap meet here, you know. Let's go back to the trailer.
Awesome.
This isn't going to be good.
All right, Kev, so I super missed you. You were gone in New York. It's been fun with Brad and with Wilt, certainly, but, you know, you and I have been doing this for so long. You
Yeah.
were so thoughtful at the Salt Lake Good Guys show. So I thought of you, and I was like, I got to get him something super unique.
Oh.
This is an oscilloscope. You can plug it in.
Okay, what do you do with it, though?
You test stuff. At some point, everybody, and you can't deny it, everybody has always wanted an oscilloscope, and not everybody got one.
It's for science.
It's for science stuff. Okay.
Okay.
We plugged it
Does
in.
it work?
No,
It doesn't
no,
work.
No.
No.
I have not always wanted a silo. I can't even say that, and I can't spell it. I don't want one. I don't even think they use those anymore. I'm not a doctor.
So let's
Appreciate
set that down because I don't want to spoil the next part.
Okay.
What do you get the guy that has all the cool stuff already?
Okay.
And I was thinking about it. I was like, really, I was thinking about your family.
I'm super excited.
And you, wait. I'm not going to spoil it. Just to open it, man.
My dad already has one of these.
You don't.
The truck was super thoughtful. Dave knows I like trucks. My grandpa left me some really cool die casts. This will go right along with the sets, and I'll be collecting them forever. Thank you guys.
Yep,
Thank you guys.
absolutely.
And
Yep.
everything went smooth. The cars look great.
Oh, he does think this
These guys
is all
did
we
a
got.
wonderful job helping out. So yes.
Awesome.
Overall, we had so much fun here, as we always do, and we cannot wait to come back.
The one rule that we talked
There's not
about.
that much. There's not that
How
much.
much is not that much?
Well, I mean, maybe
I mean-
a bumper, and I got the set of headlights.
I don't want to be around for this. Ooh,
What size
They're
is
so
that?
they're long, they're narrow. You know, it's
Well, this is
And I got-
ridiculous.
I got a porta power. It's in a
porta power?
box.
A porta power?
and a bumper? How many wheels did you buy?
Wherever there's drugs, there's going to be firearms.
Local fishermen reported a boat full of people. U.S. Customs, stop the vessel!
Contrabando, apreendido no mar, sextas às 21 horas no Discovery.
Tu já fazes muito. Deixa o crédito pessoal Credibom fazer um pouco por ti. Banco Credibom faz mais por ti.
Tu, que desafias a inteligência, com a energia de quem carrega o futuro, 100% elétrico. Tu, que te moves pela liberdade e enches a vida de momentos autênticos para partilhar novas emoções. Prepara-te para conduzir a diferença na cidade. Sai da caixa e entra no novo Dongfeng Box.
Torna-te a estrela do casino com 100 rodadas grátis no registro. Betano.
Se não te sai da cabeça esta canção,
é porque tens um bom negócio à vista.
Se queres mudar de direção na tua vida, compra em segunda mão no site do Pisca Pisca.
Se o Pisca Pisca também não te sai da cabeça, é porque já sabes que o melhor sítio para mudar de carro é no site do Pisca Pisca. Se é para mudar, Pisca Pisca.
that pump out.
Boys.
Oh, man. If that don't start, this prospect is over. It was completely underwater, brother.
I know, dude. If it did get inside the carburetor, it can go inside the piston chamber. They can actually screw it up.
If the pump is flooded, they can't run pay dirt through the high banker sluice box.
Just take a little extra time, pull the spark plug out. There she is. Now, I know the backside of the plants, the equipment, and stuff like that. I know all that. Getting out front, these prospects, is what I really want to do. One day, yeah, I'll have my own operation. Let's just go ahead and bar it over now, see if any water squirts out.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh. So
no water came out. All right, give it a shot, Jay.
Discover how nuclear science innovations are changing our world.
Stereotactic radiation is known to be as precise and effective as a surgical knife, and right now we are testing its performance for inoperable liver cancer.
Thanks to improvements in medical imaging, which allows doctors to map out the exact contours of a tumour, it's now possible to shape radiation beams. During therapy, the patient lies on a custom-made body mould. Sensors monitor and control their breathing, which minimises any movement, making treatment faster and more effective than ever before. Nuclear science innovations help tackle 21st century challenges.
Welcome to hell, boys. This is it.
Os Últimos Lenhadores, sábados às 21 horas, no Discovery.
Ever since I can remember, all I've wanted to do is mine for gold. Gold dust. I'm addicted to it.
Man, I love this car.
Flatheads are just cool. It's in really great shape right now.
Penny, come, now.
It didn't just slip back in like we were hoping.
No. The general idea is pretty simple, starting to actually look like parts.
That is exactly what the doctor ordered, right?
Cool package.
Beep, beep.
Ew.
Sometimes you have to kick a dog when it's down.
Do you want to ride in the rumble seat or you want to ride up front? When I look at a blank canvas, I see endless possibilities. As the ideas come to mind, the lines start to fall into place. Intense color.
This is gorgeous.
Performance.
It's fantastic.
Stance, wheels, sound. There's one thing that makes our cars stand out. Ours are Kindig customs.
Oh, it never gets old.
Hey, Paul, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Awesome. I'm doing very well, thank you. So, hey, I heard you got the old Pinky's 35 Roadster. Is that correct? Is that the car we're talking about?
Yes, that's the car. It was a car that Bruce Levin had commissioned to be built. Bruce passed away, unfortunately, before he got to see the car.
Oh.
It's a car that he donated to Children's Hospital. I bought it through an auction, so I bought the car that way and actually got the car. It had about 32 miles on it. I don't think anyone had even driven it except on the trailers and off.
I remember that car actually, Loveland, Colorado, the Good Guys show. We'd go over to Pinky's and check out all of the stuff when they had the kickoff party. And I remember that car. It was very, very well built. So
I think it was 3-4 years in the build process, and I have a stack of pictures about 3 inches tall to document the build on
wow. I understand it's not running really well right now?
it. It never did start real well. Something mechanical's not right on it.
What's under the hood on this car?
It has a newer generation flathead,
okay.
But on top on the intake it has a McCullough supercharger that I think they only made for 1 or 2 years.
Oh,
and
really?
It adds about 7 horsepower to it, but it's quite a unique looking piece.
My blow dryer at home adds about 7 horsepower to anything too, but you know.
It looks about like a blow dryer.
Is that right? I'll have to look that up. So we'll see if we can maybe play around with the supercharger, see if we can get a little bit more out of it. Is it a single carb or dual carb, or what's going on with it?
It's a single carb on it right now.
Oh.
And it always started really hard. It would crank and crank, and then it would run kind of rough. Okay. First time my wife and I took it out, we almost didn't make it back home. So it was quite an experience. Something went wrong inside the motor on it.
Okay.
I want you to do the car because the quality of the build is such that I need someone that can really take it apart without damaging anything.
Well, we got careful hands. Yeah.
You know, damage control is probably the biggest thing because you know it's in really great shape right now.
Yeah. Let's get it down here and we'll just go ahead and check out and see what we can find out what went wrong, and we'll make it go right.
Okay, sounds great.
Far out. Hey, great to see you again, Paul, and let's talk again soon. I'll let you know when the truck's coming.
Okay, good enough, Dave.
All right, pal.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just gotta be really careful. It's a really, really nice car. Really nice car. You want to make sure it stays that way.
This 35 Ford showed up here because there's something wrong with the engine. The client said it probably needs to be rebuilt. We're gonna do a little exploratory diagnostic just to confirm.
What's gonna happen is we're gonna take the back bracket, and I'm gonna pull it out of there. You guys are gonna lift it up. I'm gonna pull it out, and then we're gonna slide it back. Those old Fords, you got big fenders you're crawling over and stuff. Best way to do it is just remove the hood, the fenders, everything you can, just clear the whole area. Okay, we're on way to lift it back, Kenny. Let me pull this out of here. Go ahead.
Tim, you got that side?
Somebody's got to get the back. And don't fold it completely.
No, I'm trying not to.
All right. You guys okay?
Yep.
Now that the sheet metal's cleared away, we can see the engine clearly, and we're going to go ahead and try to fire it up. Fuel pump's awful loud.
Yes.
Gotta try it again.
All right.
We're cranking it over, nothing's happening.
You ready?
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and try and put a screwdriver into the coil wire to see if there's any spark going to a ground. Well, probably no, because it doesn't have spark, but I don't want to be the guy to get hit by it. Go ahead. Let me try a different ground. Go ahead.
No spark?
No spark. So, got an ignition kill somewhere. With no spark, it could be a hidden kill switch someplace in the car. I wonder if it has some kind of ignition kill switch somewhere. What is the on the dash there? In the old days, they used to use toggle switches and hide them in the car so that they could disrupt the current to the coil, and it's a good anti-theft device in a day. Should we check it for spark?
Yeah, I can.
I can't find the kill switch, so we're just going to go ahead and test for spark.
We're going to look at the distributor rotor to see if it's got a good connection on it.
This could be several things, so we're going to check out one thing at a time. Nobody's home. Distributor's not turning. We can take the distributor out and check the gear. It may have a broken gear. Could be a broken shaft. Could be a few things. You got a little flashlight, Tim? Little camshaft? Here, there's a gear that's spinning this way, and it's got kind of a worm cut to it. For the camshaft to spin this way, there's got to be something very wrong inside the engine. Got a wound right there.
Yeah.
All right, what did we find?
Well, we found the distributor wasn't turning, so we got down in here and we've noticed that the distributor gear, off the cam gear, wasn't turning inside the motor, so basically we're going to pull the motor.
I don't know what's gone on inside this thing, but it's a mess.
Oh, I see what you're seeing. That's all the gears on the other side.
Let me grab my camera. Beep, beep, beep. We're gonna take the camera and poke it down this distributor hole to see if we can see anything.
Yeah, that's the head of a bolt, and then there's the threads.
So with the borescope, I'm seeing all sorts of metal that's not supposed to be here. I'm seeing some kind of weird fastener. So I'm gonna get the magnet. We're gonna try to grab some of it so we can actually see where it came from.
I want to pull out something awesome, dude. Ew.
That's some big chunks.
This engine's definitely gonna need major surgery, probably an overhaul.
Well, let's just get it out and then let's just see if we can get it repaired. That's crazy. Well, that would explain the reason why it didn't start.
Yeah, no spark.
No spark.
I'm gonna try and leave it together as much as I can so that they don't have to like reassemble stuff to dyno it and all that stuff. Just send it to them as a unit.
Good. This engine is toast, so we're gonna go ahead and take it out and we're gonna get it off to our good friends at H&H Flathead so he can rebuild it. This engine is super heavy. This engine is super old. This car is really nice. I want to make sure that guys take a lot of precautions in pulling this out because I don't want any touch-ups.
And just lift the motor slightly and just walk it out the front.
Okay.
I come back here every year. I'm addicted to it.
I want all hands on deck, and I need these guys to be laser focused. No scratches, no dings, no anything.
Kenny! Kenny! Come!
We need to hold this motor from...
Do you want me to hold it or jack it up?
Jack it up.
Those are
heavy. As soon as we can get out of here, get it out. Can you pull back? Okay, that's good.
Yep, we're good. Let's go out.
Get it out of here and get on the ground. With the clutch in and the flywheel and everything, yeah, the ass end of that motor's pretty heavy. These flatheads are so ass heavy, man. You just gotta adjust it just right to get a good balance, but it was still tough. So we got it out. It was a little bit troubling though, wasn't it? I mean, the ass end of this motor dropping like it did.
Freaking, that had me freaking scared.
I forgot how heavy flatheads are in the back.
Oh yeah, it freaking made me move. So it got me moving.
But you know what? We got it out of the car uneventfully. No scratches, no chips, nothing.
Good.
And that's kind of what we're shooting for.
Sweet.
Now that the engine's out of this 35, we can get it crated up and get it over to our good friend Mike at H&H Flatheads. He's going to go through and rebuild the entire motor. The engine is back, fixed, looking cherry with a new supercharger and ready for install.
I think this thing's amazing. Flatheads are just cool, and then you get a supercharger on it, and also it being a nice 35 Ford. Cool package.
We don't see too many of these through the shop anymore. No. Do you know who invented the flathead?
No.
Neither do I.
Definitely used enough screws.
We used to see a lot, but we don't really see them anymore.
They are historically cool engines.
Definitely cool to look at. Put an LS next to this, and this will win the beauty competition every single time. So.
All day.
Yep.
Horsepower, not so much.
We didn't have to go there.
Sometimes you have to kick a dog when it's down.
No, but this is cool. These have been in hot rods since hot rods for hot rods. Oh, look at that. Look at the paint, make sure that we don't, that everything can be touched up. It looks pretty clean, so.
This isn't the original engine that came with this car, but this engine is from that era. It's as old as Dave.
Well, what ended up being the problem? Where did all that hardware come from?
Timing gear?
What was up with the inside?
Seeing what's wrong is kind of like solving the mystery.
Oh, wow, look at the timing gear. Just sheared the bolts clean out of it.
Yep.
I guess that's why we saw that thread. That was one of the bolts.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Wow, and all that just dropped down into the crank. All that metal.
Locked it up. Bearings not.
I wonder what caused that thing to shear like that. And the pistons weren't doing good either.
That's probably what caused it. That could have binded up on the cylinder wall there.
You always want to know what happened inside, and sometimes it might surprise you.
That's crazy. So it's all good to go, huh?
I believe so.
There's some things that don't look the same as when we sent it.
No. It's got the...
Probably more importantly, it sure is a little bit more shiny than I remember it.
And it's got another carb too.
We got to figure out what we're gonna do for air cleaners. So keep that in mind when you're working on it. 2 new carbs, brand new supercharger. Looks like we're jet set, ready to rock.
Ready to go in.
All you got to do is get this thing in. Oh, that's a problem. That sucks.
Yeah.
Damn. That one's good.
So on these early Fords, the engine mounts are actually part of the water pump.
That's a whole new water pump we need.
It's not the end of the world. We just have to replace the front of the water pump or re-weld it. We'll be good to go.
We got to get a new water pump. Not a big deal.
Could the engine go in and then?
Probably. As long as you have something. As long as you have something to support it. So yeah. Perfect. Well, let's get it in and then go from there, and we'll handle the small nuances. Awesome. We'll get it in, dude. Let's drive this beautiful car. Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna look good.
We are about to slide this transmission in there, get that onto the transmission mount, and then we're gonna use a jack to hold it in place. And after that, we'll get the engine rigged up and try to set the engine in there and get them made together. So
normally we'll put the engine and transmission together before we slip it in the car. This one is pretty simple. We can do them separate, and it makes it a little bit easier and a little bit less nerve-wracking.
Kenny, how you looking, my dad?
Getting close.
Okay. So this thing's it's not sitting too unstable on this jack. I think we'll clear that cross member. Yeah, it's pretty solid, but we'll still need to steady it as I come in with it.
Yeah, I want to see where I'm at with this cross member. I know I'm gonna have to lower it a little bit, but
it's a little tricky to get in there.
Got it. Okay, hold up.
Okay. Not a lot to it, just a little bit of tight space in the firewall. Makes it a little bit more.
Walk it back a little.
Just painful. Make sure we don't mess anything up. So.
Now, will you take that up just a little bit?
Sure can.
We probably got a good 1/4 inch to spare against the firewall.
How's it looking in the tunnel?
It looks pretty centered.
Okay, go up a little bit. A little more. More.
It's tight. There's no room for.
Okay.
Okay, that should be at least that. You can get the bolts in those, huh?
Yeah.
Kenny got his bolts to line up on the holes pretty easy, so. That height feels probably, it needs to go up a little bit, but it's not too far off. I don't know if you can go up one more notch, Sure we want to get one notch. So far, so good.
I'll go grab the engine hoist.
Do we also know where we want to pick it up from?
No, that's what we got to look at, sort of figure out what's going to work.
With the weight of this engine, moving it around on the cherry picker period is just nerve-wracking.
Oh, Kenny, come now.
This engine weighs. This thing has so much weight, it can move very rapidly, so everybody needs to be on their A game.
Slide it off so we can get a hold of it.
That's good. That's good.
Wherever there's drugs, there's going to be firearms.
Local fishermen reported the boat full of people.
U.S. Customs, stop the vessel!
Contrabando, apreendido no mar, sextas às 21 horas no Discovery.
Tu já fazes muito. Deixa o crédito pessoal Credibom fazer um pouco por ti. Banco Credibom faz mais por ti.
Os prazeres da vida sentem-se à flor da pele. Nas primeiras gotas aquecidas, no conforto de um duche quente, estas são sensações de uma casa Vulcano. Com uma vasta gama de esquentadores eficientes pensados para o seu bem-estar, a Vulcano é a alma da casa. E agora oferta de 50 € na compra de um esquentador mais eficiente. Vulcano, soluções de água quente.
Tu, que desafias a inteligência, com a energia de quem carrega o futuro, 100% elétrico. Tu, que te moves pela liberdade e enches a vida de momentos autênticos para partilhar novas emoções. Prepara-te para conduzir a diferença na cidade. Sai da caixa e entra no novo Dongfeng Box.
Se não te sai da cabeça esta canção,
é porque tens um bom negócio à vista. Se queres mudar de direção na tua vida, compra em segunda mão no site do Pisca Pisca.
Se o Pisca Pisca também não te sai da cabeça, é porque já sabes que o melhor sítio para mudar de carro é no site do Pisca Pisca. Se é para mudar, Pisca Pisca.
Tu, que desafias a inteligência, com a energia de quem carrega o futuro, 100% elétrico. Tu, que te moves pela liberdade e enches a vida de momentos autênticos para partilhar novas emoções. Prepara-te para conduzir a diferença na cidade. Sai da caixa e entra no novo Dongfeng Box.
welcome to hell, boys. This is it.
Os Últimos Lenhadores, sábados às 21h, no Discovery.
Ever since I can remember, all I've wanted to do is mine for gold. I'm addicted to it.
Discover how nuclear science innovations are changing our world. Did you know every raindrop is unique? This uniqueness is allowing scientists to track the journey of specific raindrops in an effort to help our thirsty planet. Every month for over 50 years, researchers have gathered rainwater from hundreds of sites around the world.
We now know which areas need special attention. We know how to protect them to ensure water supply for now and the coming decades.
The unique isotopic fingerprints of each rain sample are recorded, and this information is entered into a large online database where it's compared to similar data from surface water to see which raindrops end up in which rivers. Nuclear science helps tackle 21st century challenges.
The restored engine is back. Now all the guys need to do is make sure they got all of their I's dotted and their T's crossed, and of course, put it in safely.
I'm going off of the exhaust manifold, 2 points on each side, that side, and I'll have to check and see if it balances out, but if it does, then I'm good. If not, I just got to keep jumping links until I'm where we need to be.
It's no different than any other engine we install. We need to be super careful. The car's painted, the car's done. Let's just hope everything goes smooth.
All right, but now lift it up a little bit. We're just gonna check the balance.
I think you might have to one link up on the back side of that.
Yeah, set it down. All right, there's good. It has an exact fitment, and if it's not there, it won't go in. So we have to be really careful on that part. Yeah, I like it right there. I think that'll go in good.
Bring that back around. There we go.
Okay, start to lower it down just a little because we got to go down and then in.
It's a super tight fit getting over these fenders. The only way to guide it in is to get under it and just kind of move it with your hands. We need eyes everywhere, no scratches. That's the goal.
Kip,
yo,
can you kick the hoist towards Tim, that front end? Because we have a mile of room on that side.
Okay. That? No more?
Just a little more. Okay. Now let's take it down a little.
Okay. Okay, ready?
Yep. Okay, hold it.
Holding.
Down just a little more.
Okay.
A little more. A little more.
You got much further we can go.
No, right there. That's good. Okay, walk it in a little.
The motor mount is hitting the chassis right now.
Let off on this
floor jack.
Floor jack.
Okay.
Almost there.
We're like within like the final engagement on the input shaft into the clutch. So right now the splines are still catching. So once we get those all lined up, we should be able to slide all the way in.
Right. Ooh.
Okay.
Where should be?
It won't twist. It's locked up. So that means it's probably in the spine of the clutch at least.
We just got it.
You just got it as I got it in. Okay.
I mean, I'm.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
So we're in, guys?
We are in.
Sweet.
It's in.
Yeah, so we have to make a decision on, or the customer makes a decision if they want to try to achieve a little more horsepower, a little better performance. This here was the answer. This wasn't, so they were swapped out. It's a little nicer to look at, and the performance is going to be a lot better than this old system here. This charger here was removed. This is the new one that's put on. There's quite a few differences. This one here is a single carb. The new one is the dual carb on that. Yeah, so we have the dual carbs on this one, and that setup's just single. So on this system here, you have ports in the back here, so we grease things up back here. These will take grease on this end. That lubricates everything in there, and with this oil here, where we fill it up there, and then our grease ports there. On the old setup here, you had to have these oil lines right here. They would hook up, they would feed the oils to it, and which, I mean, it works, and that's a great system. It's just, this is a lot more efficient, and it's a bigger setup, so it should provide a little more power to the system than where that one was at. This setup requires, you got to have your cooling lines going in and coming out on this setup here. This setup here is set up with, so this one has the oilers. This one, you fill up your cavity, that's your full mark when it gets to here. So it just has its own reservoir that connects everything and keeps, it supplies its own oil here. And so it's a little bigger system, but it's just a lot friendlier. It's a lot cleaner. We don't have as many lines going everywhere. Looks a lot nicer, and it should perform a lot better than the original setups that came with these engines.
This beautiful engine is back where it belongs, in the chassis, in the 35, and now it's time to connect all of the wires back up and get this thing fired.
Well, we just got our joint or fuel line. This is the fuel line. We'll connect the two carbs together.
We now have two carburetors instead of a single, so it'll be very important to make sure we get the linkage set up right, and of course the fuel line.
The Stromberg part for the Stromberg carbs. This one line will come in, nice little piece. and it'll join and feed both of them together. The spacing's just a little off, so now we're trying to see. Yeah, it's only off a little bit. I think that won't take much at all. So we'll bring this out and in like that, just a little bit. Do it carefully so we don't create a dumb little dimple in it. Yeah, I can tweak that a little bit to get that to line right up. We'll be good to go. And then it'll look way good. It's a nice clean piece that'll sit in about like there. We can start bending it and get it to fit just right. But we'll get her. So basically this is a nice little tubing bender, but I am going to do the opposite with it and use it to help hold its shape and pull backwards on it. Try and get some of this out of it and not make it look all bent and goobery. Tube bending is kind of a trial and error thing. Obviously, there's people who are masters at it. I am not by any means, but I try. See if that opened that up and pulled that out. About halfway there. A little bit more tweaking, we'll be good to go. We are getting closer. Yep, just tiny little micro adjustments till you get it where you want it, and then you win. Just like that. Should be good to go. Nice, easy fix on that. That little bit will make all the difference in the world. You polish it up, keep it nice and clean, pretty, etc., etc. Polish it up and make it look nice.
The fuel's now going to the right places, but before we fire it up, we have to take a closer look at these cooling tubes.
All right, mocking up one of my cooling tubes here. Right now we need to get it running. Hopefully this works out. So I have to create a new line that'll come out of the radiator and come straight down here. It's really bulky and intrusive and everything, so we're just trying to clean it up, make it look a little nicer, match the other side. On the passenger side, it's a nice long tube there that's really clean. It's a little bit challenging because we have the generator here, and so there's not a lot of room. Trying to get this finished up here. Just need to get a bracket on here, get that together. This obviously isn't a finished product, but it's mock-up so I can start it, run it while that tube's being built, and we'll be ready to fire her up. Be good to go. So we got to start it up here. A little nervous. I don't know where the carbs are, where everything's set up on this. We just got to start it and cross our fingers. Last thing I want is a big fire happening because something's all out of whack, but I got Kip right here just in case it does catch on fire. He's a real good guy to fall back on when you have those kind of problems. You just blame him. So, but I feel pretty confident I got it right. Little trial and error right now to see what and where we're at on it. Hopefully it's close enough to where we can just dial it in running. Okay, it's on you, Kip. Here's all your hard work. We're gonna see if it paid off. Let's do it. Ready? So that's working out just the way I planned.
First time turning the key, oddly enough, we have combustion and idle.
I'm really happy that we got to do a little adjustment on the throttle. But as it warms up, it's idling fine. I don't have any issues there. So just some little minor adjustments on that, and we can throw the hood on this thing, and she's ready to go.
You got enough gas?
Yeah, no, that sounded really good.
I think she's running a little rich right now on idle.
No, it is.
I mean, started right up, so that's the huge plus side to this morning.
It's good to go.
Recheck fluids and we'll get her fired back up again.
Yep. Make sure everything's going good there.
I'm gonna grab your high hour temperature sensor wherever that thing's at.
It takes a oil feed here, grease in the back, so we're just checking to make sure our fluids are okay in there so that we're not running it dry or whatnot, but everything's looking good. Make sure it's good, and then we'll start it up again and see how she goes. Yeah.
I'm just adjusting this throttle. It was set down a little too much, so basically it wasn't giving it any gas on startup. So I'm just adjusting the tension on the cable so that it's on startup, it's at the, you know, the right setting there, so we're actually getting that proper amount of fuels there. Then I need to check, make sure our air-fuel ratios are right. And, but I mean, it's sounding good. Things are looking good right now. Little minor adjustments, and she's good.
Hearing this engine run really is a great thing because that means we're not very far off from getting it on the road.
The guys have been working really hard getting this 35 roadworthy. I need to check it out myself just to make sure it's client ready.
What's up, Kenny? Okay, so after all the things we had to manipulate, it didn't just slip back in like we were hoping.
No.
So what did you have to do?
We had to modify our cooling tubes. So I made these, and then the fuel lines, had to redo a bracket for this setup here for our throttle cable. This is all set up. We got the dual carbs on there.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. It looks great. I think the customer is going to be super pleased with it. You know, you've been tweaking on it, you've been doing all this, but you know what? I haven't heard the car yet.
Yeah, I think it's ready to go, but you'll be the judge of that.
Can I fire it up?
You can.
All right, well, let's do it. Oh, if flatheads were made in Switzerland, I would say it sounds like a Swiss timepiece.
But my thoughts exactly.
And you know what Swiss timepiece rhymes with? Dime piece. Sounds cool.
Sounds great.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to go drive it.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Can we take it for a drive?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. The only thing I think we want to do is I want to have Greg print something maybe vintage for the air cleaners.
Yeah.
I mean, those are obviously very functional, what we put on there, and we have a kind of a height restriction. So I think maybe he could print something real cool to kind of come to the back of that thing and suck some air in. I think that would be really cool. And I think other than that,
yeah,
she looks great to me as long as she runs great. We'll get her out later and drive her. We'll have Greg make the air cleaner, and this thing can ship.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. I'm pumped. Good job.
Welcome to hell, boys. This is it.
Os Últimos Lenhadores. Sábados às 21 horas, no Discovery.
Tu já fazes muito. Deixa o crédito pessoal Credibom fazer um pouco por ti. Banco Credibom faz mais por ti.
Tu, que desafias a inteligência, com a energia de quem carrega o futuro, 100% elétrico. Tu, que te moves pela liberdade e enches a vida de momentos autênticos para partilhar novas emoções. Prepara-te para conduzir a diferença na cidade. Sai da caixa e entra no novo Dongfeng Box.
Se não te sai da cabeça esta canção,
é porque tens um bom negócio à vista. Se queres mudar de direção na tua vida, compra em segunda mão no site do Pisca Pisca.
Se o Pisca Pisca também não te sai da cabeça, é porque já sabes que o melhor sítio para mudar de carro é no site do Pisca Pisca. Se é para mudar, Pisca Pisca.
Tu, que desafias a inteligência, com a energia de quem carrega o futuro, 100% elétrico. Tu, que te moves pela liberdade e enches a vida de momentos autênticos para partilhar novas emoções. Prepara-te para conduzir a diferença na cidade. Sai da caixa e entra no novo Dongfeng Box.
Discover how nuclear science innovations are changing our world. Scientists have been attempting to reduce problems such as global hunger by inventing new techniques to breed and grow plants. Using gamma rays to safely create mutations has been around for nearly 100 years, and the technique is now being used to enhance the genetic diversity of crops like barley and quinoa. Irradiating the seeds speeds up the natural process of plant evolution, allowing scientists to find thousands of improved crop varieties with valuable traits for farmers, such as disease resistance and tolerance to drought. With breakthroughs in nuclear research, scientists can now more quickly identify the best new traits. This process is incredibly efficient and means we're one step closer to making global hunger a thing of the past. Nuclear science helps tackle 21st century challenges.
To make body lines match up the way they do, the proportions look the way they look. I mean, that's a skill set in itself also. Just the cab on the Willys is something we can all be proud on. And having Bob part of that is key.
I know this looks crazy and bad right now, but once we get it all cut out, trimmed up, it's gonna look perfect.
This is extensive metalworks. We do metalwork on pretty much every project that comes in and out the door. There is some sort of metal shaping, welding, grinding. All that technique is built into pretty much everything that goes in and out. But this Jeep Willys, I mean, every inch of it is metalwork. It's something that's evolved into a really, really, really cool project that everyone in this shop is proud of.
Wherever there's drugs, there's going to be firearms.
Local fishermen reported a boat full of people.
U.S. Customs, stop the vessel!
Contrabando apreendido no mar, sextas às 21 horas no Discovery.
Não, eles vão aumentar 12 vezes, porque assim ele não precisa aumentar.
Okie dokie. We are about to go speed round sketchy. So on Paul's car, we've got a little bit of an issue. The supercharger is just a little bit taller than the old school supercharger that we had on there. So there's no room for a filter. I'm just gonna kind of quickly sketch up an idea that's in my mind and see if it looks like something that'll work. Carburetors are a lot closer to the top of the hood, or to the bottom of the hood, that is, and we've had to just cap it with a couple of screens, basically. So based on the design of what was on there with the old school supercharger, this really cool bronzed matte finish with polished hardware, cone filter kind of kicked off to the side, I think I'm gonna design something up, or maybe we can have Greg 3D print it and put a K&N filter on there, and it'll kind of finish it all out and give us the protection of a filter, not just a screen. So the screen will keep flies out, but not dirt. So let's see what we can come up with. We'll see if Paul likes it, and if he does, we'll go ahead and program something up, print it, paint it, and install it. It's starting to look like a sandwich, and I'm getting kind of hungry now. Kind of has a look of a wing nut, I guess, is the best way to describe that. But the idea behind this is to do something that looks vintage and maybe would have been built out of sheet metal, like a two-piece sheet metal that's basically a stamped, and then they crimp it together. We'll go with a little bit larger K&N filter just simply because we need a little bit more CFM capability as we're running two carburetors in a single. I think I've got the idea down. I'm just gonna pretend like these are the carburetors so we get kind of an idea of the busyness that's gonna be there. So I'm gonna throw just really quick, just an idea of the color combination, just as a nice little conceptual. And that should help really kind of send the message home. This would be done in a platinum matte finish, so it kind of ties in with some of the stuff that was already on there. We'll have polished hardware right here, creates a nice filter, and still kind of ties back in with the original designs of the engine bay, which is pretty damn cool. Okay, let's send it down and see what Paul says. If he likes it, we'll plug Greg in and tell him to start geeking out and make something cool. Welcome to the future, everybody, where drawings become reality within 10 minutes.
The top of the hood's smooth. It's going to be easy to make the vents fit the top. It's the bottom that I'm going to have trouble with because there's all these dips and structure to the underside of the hood. So I want to make sure it fits on that really nice and tight so that when the hood's up, it doesn't look bad. I want it to look finished. Traditionally, we've done all this work in metal. It takes a ton of time making the top, the bottom, everything look really good. Doing it this way, utilizing the 3D printer and the scanner, I think it'll open the door that we can do some really crazy stuff. Okay, so I got everything scanned in. The general idea is pretty simple. The shape isn't too complicated. It seems like this is going to be a pretty fun, non-stressful design. I just want to make this thing as nice as possible. It's pretty tight in there with the hood, and there's a lot of carburetor linkages. There's just a lot of things that are going to be in the way. So I'm just going to try and make clearances for all the linkages as they articulate. I want to make there be as much air volume as possible inside the intake so that there's no restriction. And I need to make the mounting so that, you don't really see it. Use a little bit bigger air filter, things like that. There's a lot of considerations. The bores on these slide onto the carburetor, or hopefully will slide onto the carburetor really nicely. You can see right here, there's the clearances that I already did for all the linkages to make room for all those moving arms, things like that. And then I left some room here for an O-ring. And then there's also going to be an O-ring on the cap. I don't want it to make any whistling noises by having any little air leaks. It's not an off-road car, so it's not like unfiltered air would be the biggest deal.
Greg's working on the computer with the 3D modeling of this intake. I'm gonna go up and check it out and make sure it looks like what I wanted. Hey, rad.
So I got the general shape, with the original rendering.
Okay.
I had to drop this piece down.
Yeah.
This is the original air filter that was on that thing. I think with that bigger supercharger, it's going to be needing a little bigger filter. So
yeah, well, and actually there was a single carb before.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely with 2 carbs.
Yeah, definitely increased the size of the filter, and then I just kind of redesigned using the style cues, of that.
Did you have to scan the other cap, or did you just kind of copy it? And
this one's a little bigger, a little different shape, but I just kind of used the style cues of that.
Just the style cues, yeah. And that's really all I was looking for is, I think the little bead roll look just makes it look like it's a stamp piece from the 30s.
Yeah.
I think it has a really cool look to it, so.
So I just need to add the mounting flange, a couple other things to make it airtight. So I'm going to try to use a little more classic hardware, use Philister head screws on the sides, and then like a wing nut on the top. I think it'll match the stuff that's on there really well.
And I think Paul will be really happy with this.
Yeah.
I think this is going to definitely add just a nice little detail to the car and really kind of bring it all back to where it was.
Totally.
So, yeah, such a nice car. So, cool. All right, man.
Yeah.
So you're going to print this on the Stratasys here?
I think this will fit in our machine just fine.
Great.
It's pretty big. And,
but it's 3 pieces. So.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to split it up, and then I'll make sure to kind of print it on its edge to get that nice surface finish.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Cool. I'll go get the sample of that color over to Brandon and have them do a paint match so that as soon as you have this done, they can just jump in, we'll get it sanded and primed and get it painted.
Cool. Sounds good.
I think that satin bronze will look killer on that. It'll just kind of tie in the other parts that were in there still.
Yeah, totally.
Yep,
right
looks
on.
good.
All
That's
right.
an original. Don't lose it.
Oh, man.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. I mean, this process is like, I feel like I'm cheating. This is so much fun.
Let's see. I tried to get everything here to be oriented in a way that the layer lines will be a really fine finish. This is what our first layers are going to look like. It's mostly support material there. And then you can see the solid parts starting to take shape there. And then as it comes up, you're seeing, now it's starting to actually look like parts. Then you can see this is the last one to finish. It'll go all the way up there, and then boom. If these things are too flat or not steep enough, then you start seeing the layer lines on the finished part. This way, they'll be the strongest part, and they'll have the best surface finish. So now that I got everything oriented the way I want, I have all the settings the way I want, I can send this to the machine, get it printing, and then looks like in a day or two, I'll have my finished parts.
This is the air cleaner here. So we just made a system to where it's all incorporated into one filter for 2 carburetors. You have 1/2 inch on the top there, so there's really not a lot of area to pull the air. It should do a lot better. Hopefully allow us to get a little better air in there. With this system, the way it is, it'll pull back. You got a little catch. It can help pull the air in.
Kenny loves the design, but is it going to fit?
And it ain't going to fit. To get the clearance with this in the hood, I need to take this top piece off just to gain that extra 1/4 inch to get it in there. So, yeah, that ain't fit.
Greg engineered and designed this really tight, and a little bit of paint made it a little too tight.
The paint thickness is acting as a wedge in there, so it won't let them seat all the way. So I just got to clear that paint inside here, and then it should drop on. Ha! That part fits.
So that is exactly what the doctor ordered right now. That looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks really good.
So cool. He's gonna love it.
Will be good with the way this is set up to catch that air too, to help pull it in.
You got plenty of clearance on the linkage?
Yeah.
Print it, paint it, and install it. Weird. I love technology. I'm voting my team #1 again. Knocked it out of the ballpark again, 23 years in a row. Everybody in the shop has had an absolute blast working on this car. It is such a nice piece of machinery, well built, beautifully styled, and now it's time to see who gets to drive it. Man, I love this car. I absolutely love this car.
You know what? I really like this car too. And you know, I'm not the biggest fan of flatheads, but this thing is just
right. Even though we didn't build this car from ground up, it is definitely. The original builder was Pinky's, and they did a marvelous job on this car, as all of the other cars that they've done. I just like everything about this car because of its simplicity. This is sweet. That new supercharger, it looks awesome. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, it actually makes boost now.
Drive it. Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Well, no, I'm driving.
No, it's your...
Rock, paper, scissors. I'm just
Ready?
kidding. You can drive.
I was gonna... No.
Well, let's go.
Do you want to ride in the rumble seat, or you want to ride up front with me?
Can I do both?
Let's ride around the block in this, and we'll see how it does.
And then I'll ride in the rumble seat.
Perfect. Sounds
Awesome.
good. Yeah, I got to get me one of these myself. Okay.
This is going to be great.
I would absolutely just love to have a car like this. If I had a car like this and you wanted to borrow it, I would let you.
This is a nice little cruiser, dude. I like it.
With the 5-speed, I bet this thing just does just fine on the freeway.
Oh, I bet it does too. It just cruises down the road.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear that whine?
Uh-huh. You're going.
Yep, breathing life back into the car. Whopping like 300 horse.
Right?
I know, it sounds so different than a normal supercharger. Like, it just sounds like vintage and rustic.
Yeah, exactly. It's like... It's my supercharger soundtrack. Ready? This thing's like the gearing. I've already put it in 5th, and like it just wants to just coast.
Oh, this is a legit car.
You could run this with the top up or down. I think either way it looks great.
C4.
Yeah.
These guys really did a great job on to get this engine. That's all it needed.
Yeah, so we did a rebuild on the engine.
Yep. Obviously, there's a new supercharger. Everything's been cleaned up. The air cleaner that Greg did.
Yep.
I mean, so this thing is pretty much ready to rock. Like I said, it's such a nice build. You didn't need much. You just needed a heart transplant.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not doing like liposuction on her or anything like that. We're not.
No. We like the shape she's in.
Yeah. So we just put a new heart in her and called it a day.
The only thing that sucks about this whole car is it's not mine.
Right?
Isn't that
Or
funny
mine.
to say? Right?
Now, what a nice cruiser. Wait till the sun goes down and go cruising this everywhere.
Right?
This would be great.
I think it's really cool when it came in that it had a really vintage and very oddball limited supercharger. But that supercharger wasn't building any power. So that's going to look great on Paul's wall. But this new Navarro supercharger, man, it's going to rip. And there's just not a lot of stuff on this thing. There's no stereo, there's no air conditioning, no power windows, no nothing. It's just a cool car.
Well, it's just simple. It's supposed to be.
Right.
Simple and classic.
It's like almost like a perfect parade car.
We should find a parade to go to. Do you think they'll have candy? Get some candy and sit in the rumble seat.
Right at the back. We should definitely parade test it though. Hey, we can just make our own parade. How funny would that be? There's a rumble in the backseat.
This is awesome.
Groovy, baby.
One dog in the rumble seat.
I don't know if legally you can have a dog in the back rumble seat.
Easy, bro. Easy.
Oh, I'm just putting my arm out. I gotta have somewhere. Where's your other hand?
Oh, it's like a ride.
Oh.
It's like a
Feet up,
roller
feet up.
ride.
Yeah. And parading?
Elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, wrist. I think that's how they do it. Elbow.
He's gonna go over the hill.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Oh, yeah. This is cool.
You gotta have a rumble seat.
Paul's a lucky man. This is a beautiful
It is a
car.
beautiful
I hope
car.
he enjoys the heck out of it. Now that it drives nice, runs reliably, has a lot more power, you just can't really beat it. It's the full package.
I agree. And it's timeless. This is a timeless car.
That's right.
The way it's done up, it's timeless. It's classic.
I love this car, and I love the fact that we were able to use that vintage of an engine still and actually make it run and fun to drive. Yeah, I think we really need to get one of these for the shop, if nothing else, you know? Nice little hot rod, be able to go around, get some ice creams, give kids rides in the rumble seat. And I'll tell you what, if this car ever came up for sale, I'd sure like the first rite of passage. No, it's terrible. We're gonna have to keep it here for the rest of the summer. Yeah!